So Shark Tank is just a program on the television.
You are taking ownership, but it is not difficult to work with.
Bold ideas and fearless innovation take center stage. This pioneering podcast, initiated by first year engineering students of MMCOE, is more than just a platform. It's a movement bridging the gap between academia and industry. Brought to life under the mentorship of Professor Subarnarekha Ghosh ma'am and with the invaluable support of esteemed faculty and higher authorities. Tech Talk 360 dives deep into the world of cutting edge technology, AI, entrepreneurships, startups, management skills, and work life balance.
Our journey began with an inspiring inaugural episode featuring Mr. Sanjeev Mandpe and Mr. Mandar Malji, who set the stage with their invaluable insights. Now, in our second episode, we take things up a notch with two successful startup founders sharing their experiences, challenges, and the risks they took to turn their ideas into reality. So, what makes us unique? We bring together student voices, industry experts, and professors to spark meaningful discussions. Plus, we fuel curiosity with exciting tech challenges inspired by the latest advancements, igniting innovation in every episode.
I now request the guests to please come on the stage, and I request Aditi ma'am to the felicitation.
Thank you. I am Jui Borse.
And I'm Humanities. So let's get started with today's podcast. So let's start from the very beginning. Building a company from scratch is never easy, especially your company began just when COVID hit us in 2020. So let's rewind back to 2019 for a short while. What inspired you to start Equanim Tech back then, and how did the idea come to life?
So actually, the journey began in 2010.
Okay.
So Equin is a joint venture, first joint venture. Prior to that, I was also into another business. Tushar was also doing another business. So prior to Equin, I established software testing company Tushar Solutions in 2010. Then I eventually sold my stake. I quit from that company, and parallelly, Tushar was doing research, and then we joined the family business. So in 2018, we decided to come together and start a venture. We thought that we are compatible, our thoughts are compatible, so let's start this company. So it's not like we have sat down and decided and then prepared a business plan and then started the company. It's not like that. Because it just happened and we started Equanim Tech Pvt Limited. We started the registration in 2018, but we received the registration on 3rd January 2019. So it is our foundation year, and then the journey started. What were the hurdles that you faced during your entrepreneurial journey? So in Equanim, there are no much hurdles out there, but in our prior businesses, yes, there were hurdles, there were challenges. When I decided to talk about myself, when I decided that I want to start something by my own, for my own, I don't want to do employment. So at that time, everything was challenging. Deciding the name of the company, then registering the company, and after that, there are a lot of rules and regulations and government compliances doing that, and acquiring the clients as well as acquiring the employees. So all were challenges, but slowly I get the app for it, and then for Equanim it was much more easier path to walk up.
So, so the journey actually doesn't start with establishing your company. So, if we take a look at what our journeys have been, it starts way before. So, for me, my father is an entrepreneur. He is a student of College of Engineering, Pune. And then he established his own company in our native place, and he did very well. So that was one inspiration for us. So it was always there at the back of my mind that yes, to understand how the world works, you need to work, do a job. But entrepreneurship is was there always at the background. That is something I always wanted to do. So the journey does not actually start with establishing the company. Like in Jui's case, it started in 2010. In my case, it started in 2008 when I quit my job and started a venture with my brother. We already have a business, family business, construction management business. So the journey started there. And yes, pandemic was a big challenge for us. It was a big challenge for us. But I would say that we were one of the best prepared for pandemic. Yeah. The reason being, so I am a biotechnology graduate. Right? So my core interest is molecular biology. And let me take you back how we were prepared. So my grandfather was born in 1918. Okay. So in Marathi, they call that year Manmodicha Sal. Okay. So in the year 1918 until 1920, India went through one of the worst pandemics. We don't read about it much. We don't know about it much. But at that time, 5% of India's population died within a span of 1 year. So we are almost 140 crores now. Can you imagine 5% people dying within a year? That would be terrible. It was that bad in that time. So I read about this during my master's degree and how the flu pandemic started, how it progressed. So I was very well versed with what would happen when a pandemic hit. So for me, I realized around 20th of December 2019 that this is going to be very bad based on the news I got from BBC initially. And it would be very bad. That is what I realized. It turned out to be pretty good compared to what I imagined at that time. So we were following everything very closely. We were ready with what tools needed to be used. All our team was trained. So we were not working remotely at that time. So we made dry runs for how to conduct meetings, how we would keep track of time, what tools we would use. And we saw to it that all of our employees were home 1 week before the lockdown started. And we had already started working from home before there was a lockdown. So we were very well prepared for the lockdown. But yes, lockdown was very challenging.
It was hard. We were working with 3 different clients who were domestic and so 4 different clients who were domestic and who were international clients. So matching the timings and in software industry there were a lot of pressure when it comes to deployments. And eventually is what happened is at the time of when COVID started, at that time one of our clients has pretty much close cycle of deployments. So managing that was really tough for us, but as Tushar said, we were prepared for everything. We have dry runs and everything, even with the client meetings, client calls, and internal status and stand-up meetings. So it was easier for us to manage everything. At that time, for one of our projects, we were doing device testing. So there were a lot of mobile devices and tablets we were needed for testing. So at that time, we provided all these devices. We have taken these devices from client and then all provided all these devices to our employee who were scattered all over Maharashtra. So these kind of challenges were there. But overall, COVID was good for us. We were sell through it very nicely because we have the preparations.
Well, now that's incredible and really inspiring. But a large part of our audience are first year students and with limited or no experience at all. So, what are the things that you would suggest to build skills and gain exposure with such limited experience?
So, the first thing I would do, and I have done this one thing all my life, I try not to miss any lectures. So, this is a lesson I learned in my master's degree, and I was academically successful, I would say, for two reasons. First, I would, a day before, I would take a look at what are the lectures tomorrow, and I would know what would be taught most of the times. I would read about what will be taught the next day, a day before, or in the morning. Secondly, once I am done with the college, I would go back and read what has been taught in the college. If you do these two things, just these two things, my field is different. I am a molecular biologist. But having done these two things, then you can relax during the exams. Okay? So to avoid that stress and to develop a deeper understanding, you can't go to a lecture not prepared. If you go to a lecture not prepared, then you are not coming back with a deep insight or a deeper understanding. So that is what I would advise the students to do. Like, did I do it during my graduation? No, it was done at that time. But in masters, I learned. In masters, I learned that this is the best way to do it because your teacher is preparing for you. Your teachers have so much experience, right? They understand what to tell you, what message to convey, where you need to understand things better. So they are masters in whatever they are doing, right? And they put in so much efforts. The college is putting in so much efforts that you have a good environment to study. So you should take advantage of it. Don't miss out on it.
Whatever technical things you will learn and understand in this phase will remain with you for all of your life. I have done bachelor's and master's in computer science, and whatever I have learned in my college days, it's still with me. It is easier for me to understand what my client is saying or what is the problem statement for AI and what solution I can provide to this problem statement. Just because technically I am sound. And why this is happened? Because of the attending the lectures, studying at that time. I also was not academically not very bright student, but yes, I have attended everything. I have learned each and everything. Databases, algorithms, C++, Java. Though there are different languages in the market now, they will go and some other set of languages will come, but this legacy thing will not change. So for computer or for IT industry, it is better for you if you learn each and everything right from beginning. Other than this, for readiness for this age, I will suggest to do some certifications. Try to understand where industry is going, what technologies are there in the industry, what are emerging technologies which will come in the industry, and try to learn those things. These are about the technical things. Other than this, to prepare yourself, there are some aspects which you maybe have or you have to develop in yourself, like developing the patience, which is very important in every aspect. Then developing the risk-taking ability. as you mentioned, taking risk is very, very important. If you want to start your own business or if you want to go in the employment, taking risk, this ability will always be helpful for you. Another important thing is try and learn to take ownerships and responsibilities. Whether you will be employee or whether you will be employer, taking ownership, this ability will always help you. This ability has helped us a lot, and this will definitely help you a lot.
So, the attitude towards entrepreneurship that does not only help when you want to start your own company. You can be an entrepreneur within your own company. We need to look at it like that. Actually, I approached my work all my life whenever I was doing the job. Like I was owning whatever I was doing, right? Full responsibility. Full responsibility for the cost of what I was doing. Full responsibility of delivering the results. Full responsibility of the timelines. So it is very important. Irrespective of if you are working in a job or doing entrepreneurship, if you have these attitudes, then it would be easy for you.
That's some really valuable advice which you have given to our fellow students. So you suggested that many people have entrepreneurship at the back of their mind. So I guess many of the people sitting here, they also start dreaming that they want their own company. So what advice would you like to give them? So like where should they begin? Or what skill set is necessary to survive in this world? And I think most importantly, what to avoid during the process.
So I would say, based on my experience, everybody's experience will be different. But based on my experience, you should not project too much into the future and say that I'm going to start a startup and it is going to do this and that. Okay? Because a startup, a business is a complex phenomenon. Okay? It is not only about your readiness, it is also about what the market wants. Right? So let me explain it like this. So my education is in molecular biology. Can I do a business in molecular biology? Yes. Okay. So what can I do in molecular biology? So there are certain things I can do in molecular biology. So what that requires? So that requires a setup. That requires a land. That requires a lab. Okay. So irrespective of how good I am at molecular biology, I don't have the capital. Okay, so I cannot be an entrepreneur in molecular biology. The way I see it, there might be opportunities, but but then can I start when I see an opportunity to start a business with Jui in software testing? Yes, certainly, because this. The business we started did not need any capital. Okay, we'll talk about capital later. So, so the thing is, it doesn't matter what you want to be. It's a complex result of what the market wants and at what time. So, projecting too much in the future. So you should be realistic. Things are changing, right? So we are into software testing and we have AI on our heads for the last 1 year, more than 1 year actually. So we started tracking AI in software testing before we established the company. So we attended a conference in 2018. Okay, conference was in Pune, and even before that. So it is very complex. But what you can do as students, so you can be an entrepreneur right now. And what you can do is take responsibility of your studies, right? Take a deep dive into whatever you are learning. Forget about what is going to happen later. So what this is a small organization you are running, right? And the stakeholders are your parents, okay, your future family. The college is a stakeholder. They want you to succeed. The society is a stakeholder. The country is a stakeholder. Okay. So these are your stakeholders. You are answerable to them. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, be a good student first. Right? Get started.
Along with this, I will say, if you want to start your business, whatever domain you will select to learn in, you should have a deep knowledge of that. You should have all expertise what that field or domain requires to run a company. When it comes to, say, for example, I am running a software testing company, so I should be able to know each and every aspect of software testing. What are the processes, what are the methodologies, what are the technologies, everything. I should be expert in that. Of course, there will be someone who will have more knowledge than me, but for running a company, technical knowledge of your domain is very, very important. Other than this, if you want to run a business, you should be aware of all the rules and regulations our government has laid out, all the compliances, and third most important thing is finances. You should know each and every aspect of finances. You should be able to read your balance sheet and P&L. That is very important. Running a business is very difficult. It's not just there is a client who will provide us some problem statement and you have to provide a solution on that. It's not like that. There are a lot of aspects involved in running a company. If you want to run your own business, which you can definitely, you should be able to do this all the days. There will be all caps you have to wear. You have to manage the finances, you have to manage the compliances, you have to manage the clients, you have to manage the employees. So you should be prepared with this. You have that willingness to do all these things. And most importantly, if you are taking ownership, then it is not difficult to run any business.
That's a wonderful answer. So, sir, you suggested that your forte is molecular biology, and you also suggested that expertise is required. So, can you elucidate on the resources which the students can use to gain expertise in their language, or how your transition was, or which resources which you used?
So I'm not a good software tester. Okay? I don't do software testing. So my job is to set a direction, set the process. Okay. So having Jui as a partner who is very well versed with all the technical aspects, that helps a lot. So that is another thing about let me get back to entrepreneurship. What you need to take care of. You need to be aware of who you are partnering with. Right? As students, you understand how important it is to be with the right people. Okay? Not just to show that you are in the right group, but in terms of your attitude towards studies. Now you are very well in, like you have already faced one exam, right? So you understand how important it is to, there are lots of distractions for you. Okay. So the point is choosing your partners is very important. So, and when you are starting your entrepreneurship, choosing your financial advisors, your CA is important. So, Jui is very good with documentation. She is very good with contracts. Okay, she is very good with finances. She is very good with accounts. She manages people very well, communicates excellently, understands people very well. Did they teach her that in the college? No, not formally, right? But conducting programs like this, interacting with people, that is very important. So entrepreneurship is not something you will do when you will end your studies. It is already here. You can start it right now. So yes, technical aspects and understanding the subject is very important. So for me, software testing was a new thing, right? But if you go back to my background, my graduation is in agriculture. Okay, my whole family is full of engineers and doctors. I'm the only odd man out. Okay, doing agriculture, and I did that by choice. It's not like I did not get marks and landed up in agriculture, right? Because that was something I dreamt of. Right, very early in my life, I wanted to be doing something in science, being a scientist. So I thought uh, it was in the year 88, 89 that big famine was there in Ethiopia. A lot of people died of starvation. So at that time, like any dreamy boy, I thought that I would solve the world hunger problems and I would go into agriculture, right? And then when I was doing my 12th, I read a book called Gene Age, okay? So that talked about genetically modified crops and how that would solve the hunger problem. I was very inspired by it, okay? So at an at the level of 12th, I understood that I had to do my graduation in agriculture, right? So I did that. Okay. Then, having done my graduation in agriculture, I realized that agriculture bachelor's degree is not enough. I need to do molecular biology, which is the cutting edge of. I did that. Okay. I understood that I had to be very good to solve problems. So I need to do my masters very well. Need to understand everything, whatever I can do. Okay, I did that. Then I was offered a senior research fellowship at India's premier agriculture research institute. So I did that. Okay, and then I started working in the field of plant molecular. Okay, I was very good at it. I enjoyed it a lot. Okay, and I was having the time of my life. Okay, I attended conference. I was interacting with the leading scientists in the field of cotton molecular biology. I went to USA to a university. We had projects with IIT Kharagpur. So it was all happening. But after birth of my son, I realized that this field is not going to provide me what I wanted for my family. Right? So, working a job is never going to get me rich. That's a realization I had very late in my life because I was so engrossed in molecular biology. So, what do? You take risk. Okay, I left that job. Okay, did I have any successful business in my hand? No, I did not. So I partnered with my brother, who is a master's in civil engineering. So we took up a civil engineering. So I was helping him in whatever way I can. Okay, so that was a big risk. So everybody in the company I was working for, all the directors there, they said, "This is madness. You don't do this. You have nothing in your hand. Why are you taking this risk? Civil engineering is very difficult. You have to do so many things, right? But you have to be convinced about something. Like this is not the way I want my life to be. I would have been very satisfied in my job, doing very well. But my duty towards my family, what I wanted for my family, would never happen if I worked that job. So that is why. So what I want to say is, when you understand something deeply and when you are convinced, you change your directions. Okay? You can go in a completely different direction. So civil engineering was very new for me. I did not understand anything. I had some basics of civil engineering when I was doing my agriculture, right? Apart from, but I learned. I worked with the laborers, understood what they were doing, understood the science. So, like Jui said, you have to have a very deep knowledge. So, I started with what is cement, how it is produced, okay, what makes concrete, where it was invented, what are the types, okay. So, you have to deep dive. When you are doing entrepreneurship, you have to understand all the aspects. You have to understand labor law, okay, which if you don't, it will be a threat to your business. So what Jui was saying was you have to minimize the threats in your business. So doing compliances is mitigating the threats, right? So what I want to say is don't be afraid just because you are successful. Everybody is saying that you are good at this and you are convinced within yourself. So it does not happen overnight. That realization comes to you over a very long period of time. But when you are convinced, you should act.
Would you like to add to answer? So basically, experience and a hunger for learning is the best resource for success. So I think we have been talking about career building. Let's shift gears a bit. So as you suggested that right now there is an AI boom going on. So and the industry is evolving rapidly. New inventions are coming at lightning speed. So from your perspective as entrepreneurs, how do you see this shaping the future? Is it a boon or how will it affect us?
So we started this company. When we started this, we always thought that this is a 100-year company. This is, even if it is a startup, we are not going to sell it and make money. Okay. So you can do that. You can aspire for that. Okay. But that was not we want. So we always look at our business as a 100-year company, right? So how do we look at AI? Okay. Is it a threat to our business? No. Okay. So do we have to adapt? Absolutely. You people have to adapt. We people have to adapt. Everybody has to adapt. So it's not a threat, first of all. We are going to be in this business for our lives. Okay. And this company is going to be a 100-year company. That is what we are. We are running it like that. So if you have such a long view, then you understand that yes, AI is there. It's a big challenge. But we are going to be in the market providing services. So the nature of our services will change. It might so happen that there would be no software testing like we know it now. Okay? It will completely change. But what we understand is people will be developing systems. We don't care how they develop it. People are going to use it. To make sure that people are going to use the system the way they were designed for, you need to test it. So, how it is being developed, we don't care. We don't care how it is going to be tested. Whether we are going to use AI in certain parts of our business, yes. In other parts, no. Okay. So AI is just a tool. Okay. It's a tool. It's extremely powerful. Extremely powerful. Okay. But you should understand and learn how to use it. So what I do is I make sure that I am using AI for something every day. So whatever thing. So my daughter had her exams. Okay. So I take pictures of our textbook and summarize the texts based using ChatGPT, paid version of this. And then I take printouts and discuss those with them. Okay. So it's a tool you all need to use. Okay. You need to summarize your chapters. Okay. You know better how to use Google LLM and everything. So, like you can use it in so many ways as students. We can use it in so many ways as entrepreneurs, in so many ways as parents. So it's just a tool. So our view is a long view. We are going to be in the market, whether it is AI or something else tomorrow. We are here to provide services, solve the problems of our clients, and we understand that the nature of business is going to change, and we are up for it.
Let's touch on something which is rarely discussed, but something we feel is crucial: mentorship. How to find a good mentor, and what do you think? What is your view on it?
Mentors are always important in your life. They are helpful. So, but the answering this question is difficult. How to find a good mentor? It's like a relationship with someone on whom you should rely on. You should believe, trust that person completely. And if that relationship is there, then the mentorship is helpful for you. This is what I will say. We are lucky enough to have very good two mentors in our lives. And because of them, I can say that we are able to achieve what we have achieved today. So yes, mentors are very, very important in your life, and mentors can be anyone. Maybe your teacher, maybe your seniors, your parents, your cousins, your brothers, sisters, friends. Anyone can be your mentor. But choosing a mentor, it's not a fixed theory behind that these are the steps, and you can, if you follow these steps, then you can choose a mentor. It's like a relationship. You have to go with that. You have to check the compatibility. You need to check if I can trust this person or not, and then you can take mentorship from that person.
So, mentorship is like Jui said, it's not an easy thing, right? So, let's say, where do you need your mentors for as an intern? So, do we need them in whatever technical things we are doing? So, we don't. We can have consultants for that. Okay. So, where do you need your mentors? So, it is how to grow your business, how to take a look at your business, what should be your attitude towards the business. So, like Jui mentioned, that we are lucky to have two extremely great mentors. So, the first mentor we have is my father, who has successfully done business in a very, very bad time and has done great things. Second is Kamlesh Vikamse sir. So he's on United Nations committees. He's on the Birla board. His brother is on the SBI board. So it just so happened that Jui's father and my father knew Kamlesh sir in his early times and knew his father. So if we did not have that access to Kamlesh sir, I'm sure we could not even reach his office. We would not be so. So you have to do with whatever is available to you. So who can be your mentor? Your mother can be your mentor, right? Or somebody you absolutely trust. So would you be looking for technical advice from your mentors? Not necessarily. We don't discuss anything technical with our mentors, right? So, but there is another thing. If you find the right mentor, you can do, and that is you can be your own mentor. Okay, like the Buddha said, "Atahi antaro natu." You are your own Lord. Okay, so you have to mentor yourself as well, right? So it's not a difficult thing to do. Right? See yourself objectively and understand, okay, for me to be successful right now with my studies, I need to do these things. So I need to be paying attention to my health as well, right? With all the amount of screen time that you all are spending and I am spending, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. I struggle a lot with my screen time. Okay, I have lots of dialysis. Like I stayed up late yesterday doing all the studio TV stuff, you know, taking my pictures and uploading them and all that nonsense. So, and it is going to be like this, right? Everything, I mean, there will be something coming up. So you have to manage yourself properly. You have to be your own mentor. Okay? Until you find a mentor, you can do it yourself. And anybody around you, a good friend can be a mentor. Right?
Like you mentioned, the access points, and previously we also discussed about conference. So we would love to hear some suggestions regarding probably conferences or webinars or workshops that students can attend. Yeah.
So when I was doing research and attending conferences, so the first conferences I attended was in Hyderabad. It was an international autumn genetics and genomics conference. Okay, and that was a game changer. It was amazing. It was amazing. So you can learn a lot in conferences. First thing is you are learning from the industry experts. Second thing, you are focused on a cutting edge thing for 2 days, 3 days. Okay. Most of the conferences I attended, did I understand everything? No. Okay. But I got the approach. And whenever you are attending the conference, you are also thinking internally, okay, I can apply this, I can apply that. We need to think about these things differently. We need to talk about these things differently. So when we started Equin, every year we make sure that we attend at least one international conference, at least one, if not 2 or 3, to understand what is happening in the industry. What are people thinking about at this point? What is on the horizon? What is coming up? Like I said, we attended the conference where there was discussion about AI in year 2018. Okay, long time back. So we have been keeping tabs on AI since then. Okay, so these things you can understand in the conferences. So it is very important. So as students, I would suggest you should attend one national conference or an international conference if possible every year. And preferably conferences that have workshops. And whenever we go to conferences, we just don't land up there. We take a look at who's going to speak, what are their track records, what are they going to talk about. Like we do a full preparation. Then you are able to understand what is being discussed in the conference. And second thing in conferences and workshops is you can talk to a lot of people. You would have very, very important questions and you can discuss them.
For us, we look at conferences as brainstorming sessions. First thing, as Tushar said, we want to know where industry is going. As we all know, our IT industry is huge. There are a lot of aspects in this IT sector and there are a lot of domains. So we choose conferences related to subject software testing and development. Then whenever we go to conferences, we prepare ourselves, whatever lecture, whatever workshops we are going to attend, we study for them. We go there like a student, try to understand what is going on, what the story is saying, about what and everything. And then those are like brainstorming session amongst us. So once we are done with the lectures, we discuss all these things with among ourselves. It is again helpful for us for networking, as Tushar said. We can meet a lot of people, we have access to a lot of people internationally. Then it gives you different aspect of what you are thinking and it can change your direction as well. So conferences, seminars are really very important. As Tushar said, you should attend as many possible as possible conferences, seminars, workshops. This give you insights of what exactly going on in your industry.
So that marks the end of our podcast.
Just one thing I would like to add. So, like we said, we attend the conference and discuss it later. So, how do we do that? Jui is very good with keeping notes, right? So, everything. So, we have records going back how we decided the name of the company, what were the things, what were the names. So, we have written records of everything. So in all our client meetings, Jui makes sure that she has something to write down. Okay, so that is something that is very important. I also have that habit, but I rely on her more these days. Okay, for the notes, right? So you can use. There are a lot of tools that are available, particularly if you are using tablets. iPads, there are excellent applications that you can use. So note taking is another thing you need to start doing right now. Okay, so that is something I'm sure Jui has done all her life, and I have done all my life. The art of note taking will take you long. It's always good to take notes.
So that marks the end of our podcast session. But I'm pretty sure that the audience members who have been listening patiently, they also have some questions brewing in their mind. So let's dive into an interesting question and answer session. Feel free to ask your questions. So, who would like to go first? But guys, please make sure that the questions are not being repeated.
So can I?
Yes.
What would you say would be the first step for a student? Would it be to think about his studies or to think about entrepreneurship? If he has been doing an internship and he has some certification, and he has gained enough knowledge to govern on the what would he take as his next step?
So, like I said, you can be an entrepreneur when you are doing your studies, right? So, right now, you are in the business of study, right? So, you should be taking care of your business. And internships, are they important? Yes, they are extremely important. So you need to find internship at the best place you can. So let me share my experience. So after my first year in my master's degree, before even we came to applying for internships, within the first 2 months of my master's degree, I was already talking to my teachers about what would be the best place to do internship. I was very lucky to have great teachers who helped me with that. So by the end of my first year, I had option of going to a national institute in Lucknow or to come to Jalna, where you have Marico, which is the pioneering plant molecular biology institution. Okay, so internships are extremely important, and you should understand that they don't happen at the end of your first year or second year. It's a process. So if you want an internship, let's say for example, with Zero, okay. So you need to see who you can contact. Do they offer internship? If they are offering internships, what they look for in a candidate. So you need to prepare for that very carefully, and you need to have a plan basically. You don't want to just, okay, I have my vacations coming up and I need to do something and let me do something. So, which is the nearest company? So, don't go for that. Okay.
So I have another follow-up question. I said that you have to gain some certification. I have another question on top of that. What I wanted is less of a textbook concept. What would a student do if he has enough certifications and enough knowledge, and in the same sense that he has made connections? You said that you made connections, you had mentors. And what if I have some connections with a person who has enough knowledge and has made a bigger profit, and I can have his help, but I am still a student in something. And we have seen that in some cases of students, they drop out. But is there a possibility that I can manage both at the same time?
Studies and business.
So you mean to say, can you do studies, and if you want to be a business person, do they go hand in hand, or are they completely different directions?
Is it?
Yeah, it is possible. I don't need to give you examples how many people have done that. Okay, but you need to understand, just because say Bill Gates did that, is it possible for you to do that? Right? So the things you need to consider is your family as rich as Bill Gates' family? Okay, so if you fail, will it be okay? And if you think it is so, and then of course you go ahead and do that. But like you said, the assumption is you have good knowledge, right? You have done certifications, right? But the thing that is missing is what are you going to do with those certifications? Have you identified for an entrepreneur? It is very important to identify a problem, okay, that you can solve. That problem could be solved by developing a product. That problem could be solved by providing a service, right? Those certifications help you in that? No. That is something you need to explore, find out, and don't be afraid to fail. Provide the solution. See if it is. So when we started software testing company back in 2010, even today you have very few independent software testing companies. There are a very few companies that are doing only software testing. But she thought that yes, that is something that the market needs. And it is important that we are able to serve the market that way. So she was convinced, and you can see the result. So the point is, not only learning is important, not only certifications are important. What is important is to identify a problem. Bill Gates identified a problem, right? He was convinced about his own abilities, right? But that need has to be there. That problem has to be there for you to solve in terms of a product or a service. So, if I were a student, I would approach it that way. I would do all the relevant certifications. I would take care of my studies. Okay, be very well versed with everything possible in the IT industry, and then understand about the world around. Think about the problems that are there are thousands of problems. Okay, some problems will give you money. You need to understand not just solving the problem will give you money. That's a different thing. Okay, so you need to approach it like that. And if your education and whatever you are doing is supporting in that journey, you do education as well. And if you think that you need to focus on your business, do that. But that happens very rare.
Thank you, sir.
So I just asked the question. So capital is really crucial for startups. So what was your story about the capital management?
Thank you that you brought it up. I wanted Zui to talk about that.
So for our company is bootstrap company, so we funded ourselves, and that funds came from loan taken against the gold. So we raised capital ourselves for our business, and we started the company. These are our financial story. So we took loan from banks because any bank or any financial houses, they have blacklisted software companies. They don't give loans to software companies. So you have to have either investor if you want to go with the investing way, or bootstrap your company. So that means fund yourself. These are the two options, and for us, we have decided that we will not take any investors' money or any other person in our company. So we will be the only two directors, founders running the company, and that is why we decided to bootstrap our company. And the money which we needed, we raised that capital from gold loan.
Another question. So it was fair, son. So like, what gave you like the motivation to just go forward, even though you have taken loan?
Yes, so it was a risk. It was a big risk, but it was a manageable risk. So when we started Equanim, we got our registration in 2019. But almost 10 years before that, Jui was an entrepreneur. I was an entrepreneur before that. So did I end up in trouble with my previous entrepreneurship experiences? Yes. Did Jui have trouble with her companies prior to this? Yes. But by the time we established Equin, we did not think that it is an existential risk. It was a big risk. And what we understood based on our experience and based on what we talked with our mentors was it is very important for you to stay in the market. Like my father always says, तुम्ही मार्केटमध्ये उभं राहिलं पाहिजे. तुम्ही मार्केटमध्ये उभे राहा, तुमच्या सर्व्हिसेस ऑनेस्टली द्या, people will take your services. So it is identifying your problem and providing the best solution possible in terms of technical solution as well as economical solution. So if you do these two things, so we were always looking for organic growth. We did not, could we have raised funds going to people? Yes, but we did not see any need. And the capital you said came from gold Jui had. She borrowed some from her mother. She borrowed some from her sister. She borrowed some from her mother-in-law. Okay, so she's the financer.
Major thing if you want to do the business is never give up. And you should be able to take any kind of risk which will come your way. And these are the two mantras which our mentors gave us, and we have also experienced that. We decided that whatever will happen, we will never give up. We will stand there in the market, giving our services with best quality we can have.
Good morning. It was really nice and listening to all your stories and the point of the question. My question is that if, for example, I am a 21-year-old student who's graduated from a particular college with a computer science degree in engineering, what field or what problem would I really like to start the startup with? What is your opinion? I want to start a startup. In what field should I do it so that I am able to mitigate any immediate problems and able to create an organized and an organic growth that you yourself with your company?
So, identifying the problem, that's a problem actually. So, it's not easy because it's not only solving a problem. The problem is with earning money out of it. Okay, you can do social work and solve number of problems. Problem is you want money for it. Okay, so it is not the market's problem. It is your problem. Okay, so how do you do that? Okay, you have to be very aware of things that are happening around you. You have to be aware of what problems the students are facing, what problems common man is facing, what problem the business people are facing. So that is something that is difficult to teach for others. You need to learn it yourself. So in your case, as a 21-year-old, what problem you can solve to start a startup? I don't know. You need to do it yourself because that's a very painful process. And things change all the time. Like in case of, let's say, Bill Gates. The market was ready for Microsoft. It so happened was there were people who were as smart as Bill Gates or maybe smarter than Bill Gates 5 years before Bill Gates started providing his solutions. Okay, but the problem was not there in the market. Okay, so they do not have that opportunity. People that preceded Bill Gates. So that is the same for you as well, right? So how to identify a problem? You need to be aware, think deeply about the problem. Okay, so one of the problems we have every year in Pune is with dengue after the rains. So, is there something you can do as an IT engineer about dengue? I don't know. Okay. So, if there is something you can do about dengue as an engineer, I think so. So, there are n number of problems, but you want to earn money out of it, right? Then you need to be careful.
You need to find out what are your weaknesses and what are your strengths. You have to define your strengths and work on the weaknesses. Accordingly, you have to explore the things. There are other options? What are all options in the industry? What are all possible problem statements in the industry? And according to your strengths and weaknesses, you can which way you should go. You have to decide for yourself.
And if you want to be an entrepreneur, you don't need to identify a new problem. Okay? So you can provide a better solution in terms of a product or a service. And like we identified software testing as an opportunity in the market. Now you know it, right? You can improve that. Provide your services. The problem does not have to be unique. Okay? But your solution can be unique. So it's not like there are finite problems that can be solved. With the existing problems as well, you can provide a better solution.
Good morning. I have a question for Jui ma'am. If someone is currently a working professional and want to be an entrepreneur, so what are the factors they should be considered to make a switch?
Like we said, if you want to switch your career and start a business, you should know all the aspects of the business and find the problem statement and then try to give solution to that statement. So what is business? Business is giving solutions to problem statements. We look at the business in this way. What is business? You are solving one problem which is there in the industry, in the market. So to start an entrepreneurial journey, you just need to solve the problem. So it may be any field, either you start a consultancy, either that person can start a consultancy, or that person can start a business, and they can go on.
What were the factors you consider for the
Like I said, financial awareness, all the other aspects to run a company, what all that it needs to start a company, rules and regulations and everything, and then you can start business. Thank you.
So we can approach this in a different way because we had been entrepreneurs for a very long time before we started Equin. So for us, it was just another natural thing to do. That let's start a software testing company, right? But that doesn't have to be true for everybody. Let's say for you. So you need to plan very carefully. You need to have a business plan. Okay. You need to understand how your product is going to roll out, how your services are going to roll out, who are going to be the clients, how are you going to run the company, how are you going to raise the capital if it is a capital intensive business you are looking for. So for us, that was not a problem because we already understood the basics of the business. But for somebody who is starting now as an entrepreneur, So you need to take care of all this. You need to have a plan. You need to have a market survey. You need to understand what the market needs. What should be the price point of your product or your service, so that way you can approach it.
Thank you. So I never do job, and from day one, this was fixed that I will start my own company. I will start my own business and will run that business. So I have not decided that in which area, which domain I will start a business, but this was decided when I was in 7th or 8th standard that I will have my company by my own. I will start a business. So I have never done the job and everything. So starting a company is, as he mentioned, that is very natural way, I think.
Hello. My question is that you said about you took a gold loan or something. So my question is that what would be the better option to it, like personal financing or telling somebody to invest in your startup or anything else. And another question attached to is that if your company had for some reason had failed, what would be your plan B for it?
So let me answer the second part first. What would have happened if our company failed, right? So we never looked at Equanim as a point in time. We still don't look at it like that. So has our company failed? No. Has it been successful? No. It's a journey for us. Okay, there can be different views about this. Okay, like we said, 100-year company. So if you are starting a 100-year company, how can it fail? So your nature of providing services might change. Your clients will change. Okay, your nature of business might change. But we have this company for life. We are going to be entrepreneurs for life, right? So as long as we are alive, we are not going to fail. So that is the first part. Second part is about finance. I think Jui is better qualified to take this.
It's on you which option you want to take. Either you want investor and investors' money and pay on it, or you want to finance yourself. It's completely your own choice, which is what are you comfortable with. Like we said, we were not comfortable with taking investors' money and then doing the business. We want to do it by ourselves.
So we wanted that freedom.
Yes. So it's on you which option you would like to take. But yes, company, if you want to run a company, it needs finances, and you have to think about it very diligently that how will you handle your finances. Either investing, taking investments, or either bootstrapping it.
So I would like to add on that there are two companies there. So basically Shark Tank and social media have changed the investing in right now. So how does it affect the overall market investments? Is it becoming more easier for it?
So Shark Tank is just a program on the television. So it hasn't changed anything.
Yeah.
It's a scripted program, but yes, it gives you food for thought, right? So how people are thinking about business, what ideas they have, and that's an excellent learning experience. Has that changed anything? No. People have been doing this for as long as humanity has been in existence. Just that it is on television, and I understand it. Most of the part is scripted. Okay, but you can certainly learn a lot from that. Okay. And do we watch Shark Tank? Because we don't want any investors, like Zoe said. So you need to be very clear with how you are going to run the company. And if you are convinced that you need to do it in certain way, and you need to prepare. So it's easy for us not to take all the risk, okay, and take an investment. But we thought that taking an investor was a bigger risk than putting all our money into this. So you need to take a call there. And what is more important? Freedom to run the company or losing your money?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to add more about the guests. So our first speaker, Mrs. Jui Borse, ma'am, is the strategic management. With an impressive 15 plus years of experience in the software industry, she has made remarkable contributions to the quality assurance and software testing, developing unique and innovative testing processes that set new industry benchmarks. Her entrepreneurial journey includes co-founding Prova Solutions before establishing Eqanim Tech Pvt, demonstrating her exceptional ability to build, scale, and lead successful businesses. Beyond her expertise in business growth, she is also known for mentoring teams, fostering inter-organizational alliances, and driving innovation. And our second speaker, Mr. Tushar Borse, sir, is the director and co-founder of Equanim Tech Pvt, a visionary leader with a strong foundation in biotechnology and research. His academic journey includes a BSc from Mahatma Phule Krishi Vidyapith, Ramuri, and MSc in biotechnology from North Maharashtra University, and a senior research fellowship in plant molecular biology at the Indian Agricultural Research Institute. With such a vast and diverse educational background, Mr. Borse brings a unique perspective on the intersection of science, technology, and entrepreneurship. Now, again, I would love to thank you, sir, and thank you, ma'am, for joining us. And the podcast was a great and very informative. Now, to our listeners, whether you're dreaming of launching your own startup, entering the job market, or just figuring out your next step, we hope this episode gave you fresh perspective and practical takeaways. Now, I would like to invite Professor Subarnarekha Ghosh, ma'am, to deliver the vote of thanks. Good morning, all. On behalf of entire team TikTok 360, I'd like to thank all of you and heartfelt gratitude to our principal, Dr. Eqanim sir, vice principal, Dr. Jui Borse sir, and Ms. Swati Deshmukh ma'am, and our CRD director ma'am, Ms. Aditi Ganage madam, and HOD of the Department of Engineering Science and Humanities, Dr. Alka Savarkar ma'am, for their unwavering support and encouragement in making this event a huge success. A special thank you to our esteemed guest speakers, Mr. Tushar Borse sir and Jui Borse ma'am, for sharing their valuable insights on technology, innovation, and entrepreneurship. Your words have truly inspired us and our students. I sincerely appreciate Ms. Anisha Parmar ma'am and Ankita Singh ma'am for your support. Special thanks to the entire core committee who has worked tirelessly behind the scenes. A heartfelt thanks also goes to all the faculty members, students, non-teaching staff, and all the beneficiaries across the college whose dedication and hard work have contributed to the success. We look forward to this journey with you in future editions, and a special thanks to the audience for such great questions and taking interest to the episode. See you in the next episode. Thank you so much.